Greatness. Good rising, people. What's up? You already know. Your boy here is in Austin, Texas, still on vacation, about to go see the guru, tap into meditation. But before I do that, what's up, bud? What's good, son? Come on, G. Great performance. Salute 3 times for you, man. All the belts, greatness. What you do is greatness. But this is your man Thurman, bro. You know we go back. You know we go way back, boy. And I promise you, son, my face, it won't look like that. Why, Keith? Why? Because my feet ain't flat. You know I can stick and move, boy. You know I can double pump fake just like you. Come on, boy. This thing is different. Thurman different. Been different, boy. This is my last boxing talk for the day, man. That hype week fight week, got all the views, baby. You got all the views. Let's go. I'm proud of you, boy. But one thing you ain't seen in this life yet, and that's your man right here, Keith One-Time Thurman. Talk to Al. Send the contract. It's time to eat. I'm hungry, baby. It's time to eat. I'm in the gym working for you. Let's go, bud. Let's go, champ. Let's go.
What's good? It's the one and only, but what do I know, boxer, coming back at y'all with another one, man. So we got Keith Thurman calling out Terence Crawford, said he wants his shot next. All right. Now, I got a few things to say about this because I do find this. I think it's a little too late for Keith Thurman, bro. At this point, I don't see Terence Crawford. I don't think that he has any. I don't see where the desire would be to fight Keith Thurman at this particular time in his career, and especially with Terence Crawford. 2 things. First and foremost, I try to go back and find the video, but I can't find the video. But I don't know. You guys got to go back with me on this. I don't know if you guys remember, and this was one of the criticisms that I had with Keith Thurman particularly. I remember when Keith Thurman was first moving up to welterweight, and he was calling out Errol Spence, and he was calling out Terence Crawford. At the particular time, he was calling out Errol Spence, he was calling out Keith Thurman. At the particular time, Errol Spence and Keith Thurman was the fight to be made. That was like the big fight, or it wasn't as big as what grew to be with Terence Crawford and Errol Spence, but it was definitely headed in that direction. Now, of course, nobody could see, nobody would be able to forecast the injuries and layoffs and the inactivities that Keith Thurman would have, but it was on the horizon of being is just as big as Terence Crawford versus Errol Spence. That was the fight to be made. So when Terence Crawford moved up to welterweight, he called out both Errol Spence and he called out Keith Thurman. I definitely remember him calling out Keith Thurman. And I remember Keith Thurman was like, you haven't even done anything in the welterweight division, right? He was talking about you need to fight Amir Khan or something like that. And then I remember once he fought Amir Khan, Keith Thurman was saying how he manifested that fight, saying like I'm the one that told him that he should fight Amir Khan, and then he turned around and fought Amir Khan and all this, that, and the third, right? So he then moves up, he then fights Amir Khan. But one of the criticisms that I had was the fact that when Danny Garcia moved up, I couldn't find this video either. When Danny Garcia moved up to welterweight, Keith Thurman was saying how he would love to welcome Danny Garcia to the welterweight division. But when Terence Crawford moves up to welterweight, he has to fight this guy and that and the third before he gets to fight with you. Didn't make sense. Now, all of a sudden, it didn't seem like Keith was in a rush to fight Errol or Terence Crawford. Now, all of a sudden, since Errol and Terence Crawford have been linked together, and with them having the belts, Keith Thurman is now wanting his shot. Now, I mean, I get it because you are in the welterweight division. I'm not going to sit here in front like I wouldn't watch the fight. But again, it's kind of like too little too late for Keith Thurman, man, because I feel like at this point, Terence Crawford has nothing to gain off of fighting Keith Thurman. As a matter of fact, after Terence Crawford beat Errol Spence, I really feel like any fight that he should have from this point on, until he retires, which won't be too long from now, according to what he said in this post-fight conference during the Errol Spence, after the Errol Spence fight. Any fight that he makes has to benefit him in some type of way. Meaning that I know you guys are not gonna want to hear this, but if he chooses not to fight Jerron Boots Ennis, I'm not gonna knock him for that, because it's like he's at a point in his career where he's got to do something to benefit. He has to have some type of benefits from this. Now, I feel like personally what he should do, Terence Crawford, being that Terence Crawford, you know, already stated that he it's kind of hard for him to make 147 now. I think that he should move up to fight Jermell Charlo. Even if Jermell Charlo, or should Jermell Charlo lose to Canelo Alvarez, I think that's the fight that he should be gunning for next. Because one thing about it, if we all know the WBO rules state that if a champion relinquishes belts and move up to weight, he's automatically first in line for that title shot. That would actually move Tim Tszyu out the way or whatnot. And I know that's a fight that people want to see. Jermell versus Tim Tszyu. I definitely want to see that, but that would actually move Tim Tszyu out the way or whatnot, and it would make Terence Crawford the #1 guy. I think that fight would be actually big, but I feel like that's what would, because you know he'd be undisputed. He'd go for his third undisputed in 3 different weight classes or whatnot. That would actually be huge or whatnot. And I just feel like at this point in time, Terence Crawford should just do anything that's going to benefit him. Fighting Keith Thurman at this point does nothing for Terence Crawford. I'm just being honest. Keith Thurman has been very, very inactive. I mean, like next to Gary Russell level. Gary Russell is like #1. Keith Thurman is #2. You know what I'm saying? Like Keith Thurman just has been super inactive. He hasn't been consistent. He hasn't even been putting on dominating performance. I mean, when's the last time we seen? I mean, yeah, Keith Thurman did. He whooped on Mario Barrios, but when's the last time we seen Keith Thurman actually look spectacular? He was hurt in the fight with Mario Barrios, and before the fight against Mario Barrios, who was in Manny Pacquiao, which was in 2019. Okay, and before that, it was against Josecito Lopez. He was buzzed in that fight. He was hurt in that fight, you know. Before Josecito Lopez, who was it? With Danny Garcia in 2017? You know what I'm saying? Before Danny Garcia wasn't Sean Porter in 2016. Like, this dude has been super inactive or whatnot. And I thought it was rumors that he was gonna fight Yordenis Ugas, but I guess that's not going to. I don't know. They from what Mauricio Suleiman said, I don't think that fight is going to be made. I'm not 100% sure. As a matter of fact, it's a few fights I thought that was going to be on the horizon in August that didn't come. Danny Garcia versus Arizona Lara. They've been talking about that fight being made, and it was supposed to be made in August, but you know, as you guys can see, August is in 2 days, and that fight still hasn't happened. We got. You know, so I mean, you know, Keith Thurman versus Ugas. I don't know what's going on with them, but I do know that you know, I just think that Keith Thurman should possibly wait till after or till they either the rematch, or should the rematch be at 154 if Bud decides to relinquish the titles. Which I wouldn't be mad at that either, because you know what, you know, I'm gonna be honest, I'm not a fan, even though my uncle Jermaine Taylor did this. I'm not too much of a fan of just guys fighting one fight and becoming undisputed. I like it more when they have to take the belts from champions. I'm just being honest. I just think that makes undisputed is like the ending road, and I feel like if a guy just fights one fighter for all the belts, I just feel like that. I don't really just look at them as like, you know, I think that that's just the easy route, you know. Now, of course, in Jermaine's situation, he had to fight Bernard Hopkins, which definitely at that time wasn't an easy route. But I'm just saying, like, in general, I just feel like I'd rather for fighters to collect belts from champions to fight each other, and that way we really see who the best is. You know what I'm saying? That's just me personally. That's how I feel. But I just honestly speaking, man, and besides, I think we all know at one particular time, Coach Bomack stated that he felt like Keith Thurman would be a harder fight, or harder to prepare for. I don't know if he said harder fight, but harder to prepare for than Errol Spence. And I understood what he was saying, and I actually agreed with him. But at this particular moment, I think we all know that we all know the game plan. When you're fighting against Keith Thurman, I think we all know the game plan, which is to go to that body, because something about his body is just not all the way there. And I think that it's safe to say that Terence Crawford would stop Keith Thurman. Nevertheless, I mean, if Terence Crawford does decide to fight Keith Thurman, I mean, that's cool. I mean, because at that point, he literally, like, I mean, he already cleared out a division, but he, like, cleared out a generation. You know what I'm saying? Keith Thurman, Sean Porter, Errol Spence, Danny. Well, he ain't fight Danny Garcia, but I mean, do we really need to see that? Kell Brook, all them. But anyways, man, let me know what you guys think. Would you like to see this fight? Do you want to see this fight? What do you want to see from each fighter next? Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. But what do I know?